On this edition of Sports Card ASMR, we are going to be pricing this mystery pack of Fleer baseball cards. Why is it a mystery? Well, I'll explain in a second. But welcome to another edition of Sports Card ASMR. I'm the Sports Card Doctor, and I'm so happy that you are here on the channel that combines sports card nostalgia and ASMR relaxation. I would absolutely love if you would consider, just maybe, subscribing to the channel. Yes, please, consider it. Maybe. You could also leave a like, thumbs up, leave a comment, hype this video up, tell your friends about us, leave a super thanks, hang out, just hang out, okay. Now, I am excited for this. Here's the thing. This pack of Fleer was in a box sent to me by our good friend and listener and viewer, Ranger Donald. If you would like to send us something, there is an address down below in the description. Always in the need of new packs of cards to open. Ranger has been very, very generous in the past, one of our key members here at the community. And in the box of cards, of which I've opened here on the channel before, there's a lot of 89 Topps, or 87 Topps, or 1990 Fleer, 91 Donruss, football from the era, 1990 Pro Set. I have several of those. That's just kind of the peak of the junk wax era. And the other day, I was kind of going through all the cards, taking stock of what I have left to open, and I found this Fleer, bright red here. It's almost got a stick of gum in it. And, of course, it says right here, Premier Edition. And I stopped, and I thought, wait a minute. We got 17 cards, one stick of gum. Is this a Fleer, like 81? Is this like an 81 Fleer, first year Fleer? It couldn't be. It just doesn't track, because that wouldn't normally be in the cards that I usually send. So I looked it up, and it does match. Everything matches. In fact, you out there are probably screaming at me in the comments, telling me what it actually is, because you know. But I just kind of drew a blank on what this might be. You can't really find it listed here. Normally you might look and get a copyright year. I can't. It's blocked. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to open this and price it. It's a old style, classic vintage edition of pricing baseball cards here on Sports Card ASMR. And we're going to go back to this one. We have used this one before. You can go back and find it. I don't even know if I'll have time to do a link. Rock Reigns on the back. So I'm going to take a swing through this one, do some page flipping, and then we're going to open this. I'm going to pick about 5 or 6 cards. We, of course, will know what year it is. I'll pick about 5 or 6 cards, and we'll see if we can make our fictional dollar back on this pack of cards. Let's take a look through this very, very classic edition of Beckett Baseball Card Monthly, released in June of 1990. June of 1990. All right. There we go. It's Carlton Fisk art right there. A lot of bow coverage there. A good arm is hard to find. Here we go. There's the big guns of Major League Baseball, including Keith Hernandez of the Cleveland Ball Club. Let's do a quick swing through the hot and cold section on June 1990. Hot. Bo Jackson, Will Nuschler Clark, Nolan Ryan, Mark Grace, Todd Seal, Ken Griffey Jr., Big Ben McDonald, Don Mattingly, Barry Larkin, Sandberg, Mark McGuire, Wade, Chicken and Beer Boggs, Kirby Puckett, Chris Sabo. All of 1990 Upper Deck, Marquise Grissom. All of 1990 Donruss, Greg Jeffries, Robin Yount, and Bobby Bonilla, who is still getting paid. Cold, Pete Rose, just all of Sportflix, Chris Sabo, Greg Jeffries, Jose Canseco, Matty No Noakes, Darryl Strawberry, Gary Sheffield, Sam Horn, and Dwight Gooden. Your hot and cold players and cards in June of 1990. $81. 81 Flair. Is that what this? We're gonna find out. Let's do this. Were you in Biloxi, Mississippi, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd? In June of 1990 at the Quality Con Card and Collectible Show at the Hilton Hotel up on Beach Boulevard? Were you there? Did you reach out to Richard Martin at this number to get a table? Were you there Friday 12 to 6, Saturday 10 to 6, Sunday 10 to 4? There's 70 tables. It was a big show. Were you there in Biloxi, Mississippi? Comment down below. Go. I have this back at number 1 somewhere, and I cannot find it. It's somewhere buried in a storage bin. I've got to find it. That'll be a fun one to go through to complete our Bo Jackson collection. Wow, that scared me. I'm sorry. I like Will Clark, but that is wonderfully frightening. That's gonna haunt the sports card doctor's dreams. All right. There we go. That is that. Without further ado, we're going to open up this pack of cards now. If we find something special, we have our penny sleeves. Alright. I might do a little bit of crinkling, but I'm not going to do a ton. I am filming these videos during the Thanksgiving holiday, so I'm not allowing myself to go a long time while I'm filming. I'm going to give myself somewhat of a break. But whenever you're watching these videos, I'm glad you're here. I hope you had a good holiday, whatever the year it is. So curious as to what this is. Authentic baseball cap. The anticipation's killing me. Is this in fact a premiere edition of Flair? Did an old vintage pack accidentally get put into a junk wax box bonanza? Let's find out. Well, that's a Reggie Smith. It's a good sign. 1980. We do in fact have a pack of 1981 Flair. think this is the oldest pack of cards opened on this channel. Fleer, of course, was initially barred, I think, or eventually, what was the story? They had released some cards in the 60s. Topps basically tried to sue them out of existence to protect the monopoly. Kind of worked. Fleer went on to produce cards in other kind of categories, but they came back, and I do believe eventually Fleer has to put the stickers in, just like Donruss has to put the puzzles in, because if they sold them with gum, it would violate, Topps's control of the market, I guess, here. But we have a stick of 1981 gum. Am I going to try to eat it? Nah, it smells like early Reagan administration. I'm not gonna do it. But let's see if we can get a snap out of this gum. Let's see. Oh no. It's a non-existent snap. Yeah. That is a powdery and too moist stick of gum from the 80s. But here it is. The packaging didn't lie. 17 cards. Premier edition. Pretty cool. And you're probably thinking, Sports Card Doctor, why did you not believe this? It's just not normal. When I receive boxes of cards from all of you out there, or I pick up cards myself, these are usually priced out of the price of the box you're getting, because it's a lot of late 80s, 90s junk wax gold. So it was kind of a rare thing. Glad I stumbled onto it. All right, 17 cards. We're going to see if we can get our money back here. First up, we got Joe Negro, little brother of Phil. Eric Rasmussen there, pitcher for the Padres. Frank Pastor, wow, amazing. Rodney Craig of the Seattle Mariners. Alfredo Griffin, that's an interesting get there, former Rookie of the Year with the Blue Jays, before he go on to play for Oakland and the Dodgers. Gary Lucas, pitcher with the Padres. Harry Spillman, this is a great pack of cards. Because it's so bad. Ted Cox, Mariners, third baseman. We got a Dave Edler. A lot of Mariners in here. We got a Terry Tito Landrum right there. Ellis Valentine. That's a fun card. I mean, they decided, let's just take a shot that kind of captures Ellis, and we'll just publish that card there. Oh, look at that. I'm excited about this. Dale Murphy. Look at this. Dale Murphy. One of my favorite players in the 80s, and an absolutely underrated and forgotten player. I think there is room for him in the Hall of Fame. He might be on the verge of Hall of Good, but he dominated the early 80s, two-time back-to-back MVP with Atlanta. He just missed the big run. He went to the playoffs in his early days with Joe Torre managing the Braves, and was traded away to the Phillies when the Braves started to build towards their early 90s run. So I think 89, he got traded to the Phillies. Love this card. This is great. This is worth the price of admission for me here. Coming off as a big 1980 season, 33 home runs, 89 RBIs. He was a stud during this era. And I think whether or not he truly belongs in the Hall of Fame, I'll let you all discuss that in the comments. But he is forgotten in terms of talking about baseball. I'm definitely going to just set him aside here. There we go. Pretty good cut on that, too. All right, a couple more cards left in this pack. We got a Craig Reynolds. We got a Mark Lytle. We got Chris Spire, who was Kind of a, look at that mustache. Wow, that's a fierce 80s mustache there. Spire would finish with the Giants. He did start with the Giants, but he was kind of a well-known player in the 70s into the 80s there. Forgotten name. Bruce Benedict spent most of his time in Atlanta as a soft-hitting catcher. And the aforementioned Reggie Smith. Look at that photography. Crisp, clear photography. I love this. All right, like I said, we're going to price these cards and see if we can get our dollar back. I can guarantee you we're going to be pricing this Dale Murphy. Let's see what else we should price. We're going to be looking at June 1990 prices. So what's valuable in 1990 from 1981? Might give Joe Negro a try. We'll price Alfredo Griffin. Tito Landrum, maybe? We'll put Alice in the Joe Negro thing. Stack there. Greg Rouse. Mark Littell. Chris Spire. Benedict. And Reggie Smith. Definitely going to hold on to these. This is a lot of fun. Alright, I think this is what it is. I think we're going to have a lot of comments here. But it might come down to this Dale Murphy. There we go. Alright. Let's bring out the price guide again. You know how this works if you're a long-time viewer. If you're new here, welcome to the show. Calculator here, just in case. We're going to mark this down here. All right, without looking at these prices here again, we're trying to get $1 back. But what do we think might be the overall price of the pack? So the overall price, I'm going to try to predict right now. I have a lot of hopes for that Dale Murphy. But again, an 81 Fleer Dale Murphy from the perspective of 1990. I don't think it's going to be a world beater. Then we got a lot of commons, but I am feeling $1.38. Let's see at the end how close we get. Our first card up to price is shortstop extraordinaire Chris Spire. By the time I started watching baseball, he was pretty much a backup infielder with the Giants, but he at one point, I think, was an all-star. Card 153 in the set. 153. Not there. That is a common player at 5 cents. All right, 95 cents away from our dollar. Next up is Joe Negro. He had a very long career. Threw the knuckleball like his brother Phil, but did not get to the Hall of Fame. At the point this card was issued, he had 2 20-win seasons under his belt, back-to-back for the Astros. course, I knew him most as the guy who had like a filing board, like an emery board in his back pocket, and tried to ditch it in a game when he played for the '87 Twins, I believe. Joe Negro, card 54. Let's see if this has any value. 57 Nolan Ryan, and no, not listed. So another cup. We're 90 cents away from $1. Alright, Ellis Valentine. I think he's going to be a common, but at one point he was a very, very good player for the Montreal Expos in the late 70s. Played next to my guy Gary Carter and Andre the Hawk Dawson. But by 1990, I do think he was out of the conversation in terms of cards that you wanted to collect. So let's see, card number 148. 148, there's Gary Carter, Andre Dawson, and Bill Gullickson at 150. So Ellis Valentine, a common. Next up, got a little bit of a known quantity even in 1990. Alfredo Griffin. He was a Toronto shortstop. He come over from Cleveland, and I do believe in 1979, if memory serves, he was the American League Rookie of the Year, 287 average, 2 home runs, 31 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 179 hits, 81 runs. It was a different time, kids. Different time. By the time I started watching baseball, he was a slap-hitting shortstop with the Dodgers, but was a well-known player at the time. So, curious to see where he goes. 430. 430 in the set. Got some Blue Jays here. Steve, Ainge, Mosby. And then that's it. Nope. Another common player here. Not looking good. Alright, now we got big name at the time. In 1981, Reggie Smith of the Dodgers. Big slugger, come over from Boston, St. Louis, and would get a good run here with the Dodgers. Card 111. 111. There's Steve Garvey. There's Hall of Famer Don Sutton. That is another common. Alright, we're at 25 cents. Can Dale Murphy get us up over $1? Very happy to pull this card. This has been a lot of fun, but now the pressure's on. It's game time, Dale. Former catcher, turned outfielder, and like I said, big season in 1980, but his best years were about to happen. Card number 243. 243. Dale Murphy, $1.25. We did it, everybody. We did it. Dale Murphy, $1.25. And that means my prediction is blown out of the water. Big pull. Big pull. Look at that. $1.50. So already over. Here's what I thought. I thought by 1990, back at 1990, if you were looking back on Dale Murphy, I thought he was maybe a 50-cent kind of card, but $1.25 in 1990 is pretty good. I think maybe the reason was people thought, because he was still playing, and he still had a shot at 400 home runs, maybe they thought Dale Murphy was going to be heading to the Hall of Fame. And that's why the value was high there. Alright, but we're going to see here what else we got. I'm pretty sure all of these are commons. Bruce Benedict, 248. Yeah, that's a common there. Got Marco Littell, 554, common. Craig Reynolds, 74, common. Tito Landrum, 539, common. Terry was was what they called him in 1981. Dave Edler, that is without a doubt a common. Ted Cox, 602, another common. Harry Spellman, sounds like a character from a rom-com in 1981. That is a common as well. Gary Lucas, not to be confused with George. He is a common there. And Rodney Craig at 597, that's a common as well. Frank Pastor, 204, he is a common. And Eric Rasmussen, 497, common as well. So we can just add these up, 5 cents a pop, there's 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 cents. There you have it. I predicted 138. Final price 205, but it doesn't matter. Our big winner today was Dale Murphy and us for getting to experience the joy of opening a 1981 Fleer pack of baseball cards. Thanks again to Ranger Donald for sending that in. We didn't get the Ricky Anderson. We would have loved to get the Joe Charbonneau. Maybe we'll get another chance. We'll see you again here on Sports Card ASMR.